welcome to everybody today. We're here to commemorate our 250-year anniversary and to talk about how national infrastructure banks can help our economy to grow. The history of our nation is that we've had four really large infrastructure banks in our nation's past, starting after the American Revolutionary War, going through the Great Depression and World War II. The banks aren't around today because their charters timed out, but this is a very successful model. So much so that other countries around the world have used this model, and they have permanent banks in place to finance their infrastructure. They call this banking system the American system, where we have an off-budget bank to finance our infrastructure. This is how the bank works. It actually operates like a commercial lending bank. We have a bill in Congress now to create a fifth infrastructure bank. Currently the bill has 63 members of Congress on board, where the support for this bill is accelerating because people recognize that we cannot adequately finance our infrastructure through the budget process alone. This is how this bank works and is able to operate the same as any commercial lending bank, as a matter of fact, while still not needing budgetary resources from the budget. That's the beauty of it. It's an Alexander Hamilton invention. A commercial bank that opens up needs to get itself adequately capitalized, which is money that owners of the bank invest into the bank in order to backstop any the loan processes in case any of the loans go bad. To capitalize our bank, the National Infrastructure Bank, we use Alexander Hamilton's method for the first bank of the United States. We go to the private sector, who today are holding around $31 trillion in treasury holdings all around the world. We ask would they like to sell in just a few of those treasury bonds, swap for preferred stock in the NIB that will pay investors a little boost extra on their dividend earnings. That's an enticement for them. And that money comes out of earnings from the NIB's loans, with plenty of money left over to meet the bank's other operational needs. Like other banks, this bank lives off of its net interest earnings. It has plenty of money to pay this extra 2%. Plus all of its employees and rentals and other costs for doing operating business. And for that reason, it does not need money from the federal budget to operate over time. It is financially independent. Then it gives out a loan just the same as any commercial bank, uses the same banking rules, procedures, actually creates money when it gives out a loan. Most people don't know that commercial banks do that. They all do. This would be no different. However, this is a public bank, so we want to be offering the very lowest interest rates possible that we possibly can, while still keeping the bank afloat, for the benefit of the borrowers from the bank, which for the most part would be state and local governments, any public entity that owns public infrastructure. A county, a city for a road, a bridge, a school can come in directly to the NIB and ask for a loan. We cover $5 trillion in project loans over a 10-year period in 21 infrastructure categories. 18 of those categories are the ones that are routinely monitored by the American Society of Civil Engineers. They tell us, after accounting for how much financing for infrastructure would come from the federal budget and state and local budgets and private capital money, we have a big gap left over. And so this infrastructure bank is sized to fully cover that remaining gap for repairing transportation systems, water systems, upgrading the power grid, building out schools and broadband. Then we added 3 more categories we think are critical: a complete high-speed rail network all around the country, affordable housing targeted to the very lowest income earners that need it the most. We're right now in a very severe housing crisis, and there's almost no new money coming from the federal budget. In fact, it's being cut back. So, and then large scale water projects in areas where we grow our nation's food. And not only can we finance all these projects, but we can better coordinate them. So we can put in new housing projects next to train stations, build out the transportation systems to move people around, make sure that the trains are electrified and that the electricity is having the lowest cost impact after accounting for data centers and things like that. So all this coordination would be done by the bank as well. This will have a profound effect on our economy. And the proof of the pudding is the four banks that came before. We're going to hear a lot about how that affected the economy. This fifth bank is expected to create 25 million new great paying, family sustaining wage jobs to construct this infrastructure that'll raise the whole wage structure, especially for the people that are hurting the most, which are blue collar workers. This bank is off budget. It does not require resources from the federal budget. So there are no new federal taxes, spending, or debt. It'll double GDP growth, which will bring in new tax revenues and solve our debt problem as well. This is what our debt looks like. It was really high after World War II. It came down dramatically with the Reconstruction Finance Corporation, not because we repaid the debt, but because we grew out of it. If we keep on our path now, we're exploding with the national debt. If we invest with the National Infrastructure Bank, we can bring that debt level down. It'll direct investment. Buy America Only will reshore American manufacturing. It'll reduce inflation, especially the cost of housing, solve our basic problem today, which is affordability, and recharge our global competitiveness. So I would like to hear more from our speakers on historically, how did these banks work? Thank you very much.